Good morning and welcome to Wake Up to UND, the morning show. My name is Tommy Kenville, Chamber Board Chair. First, I would like to thank everyone for attending this event. Next, I would like to thank our sponsors. Their contributions help make this event possible. Presidential level sponsors are AE2S, City of Grand Forks, Construction Engineers, Grand Forks County, Hatch Realty, Icon Architectural Group, JLG Architects, UND Alumni Association and Foundation, UND Career Services, UND College of Engineering and Mines, and Visit Grand Forks. The academic level sponsors are the Alaris Financial, Altru, Grand Forks Region EDC, Grand Forks Herald, Houston Engineering, Northland Community and Technical College, UND EERC, Valley Senior Living, and XL Energy. The campus level sponsors are Brody Communications Consulting and North Dakota Small Business Development Center. UND and the Grand Forks East Grand Forks business community have enjoyed a long history of countless partnerships. Together we strive for a strong UND and a strong community. The business community has been supportive of UND's decade-long makeover. When you look around the campus, you see many new buildings and more positive changes are on the horizon. The Chamber leads the Team Grand Forks effort, where we all work together on UND legislative priorities. This approach has resulted in unprecedented success with more than $1 billion in funding coming back to our community over the past decade. On a personal note, my relationship with UND is special. As an alum, and in my lifetime, I've been associated with 6 of the university presidents. Andy Armacost to me is in the top 2, and the other president I was related to. The business community respects him, students, faculty, and staff respect him, and our university will continue to grow under his leadership. Now let's get this show on the road. Andy, we're looking forward to seeing what you've cooked up this year. Welcome to Wake Up to UND, the morning show.
From the University of North Dakota, this is Wake Up to UND, the morning show. Today's show features breaking news from the Nistler College of Business and Public Administration, a new partnership with the Air Base, and the innovative world of drones. All of this plus your morning weather. Now, at the anchor desk, here is President Andy Armacost and Student Body President Faith Wahl.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're so glad you could join us today for Wake Up to UND, the morning show. I want to thank the Chamber for making this event possible. We've got a great show lined up for you today.
We'll talk to the Dean of the Nistler College of Business and Public Administration about a new era for students. We'll also tell you about a new partnership between UND and the Air Base. And we're going to explore the competitive world of drone racing. UND faculty and students are bringing us to the cutting edge with this technology. We'll also talk about strategic planning during some of our conversation today. And I know Wake Up to UND wouldn't be complete without a discussion of strategic planning. The reason it's important is because the strategic plan that we've been working on now for 8 months is focused on the connections between UND and the broader community. And so today's event is a great way for us to share some of the ideas, some of the concepts, some of the ideals that we're actually building into that strategic plan, and I know you'll be impressed. So now let's go, Faith. How about off to the news? So let's kick it off, okay? All right. The University of North Dakota is betting on a bright future. As he said, President Armacost began a strategic planning initiative this year to build a unified vision. UND's Director of Communications, David Dodds, has the story.
On a wintry day last February, strategic planning was in the air. Around 450 people gathered in person and online to generate ideas. The event kicked off the planning process.
The idea is this is not my strategic plan. It's the campus's strategic plan.
Lynette Kronelka is director of the Teaching Transformation and Development Academy. She and faculty member Jim Machorik will co-chair the planning process.
We have received input from so many different individuals and groups, and it's been really a wonderful process. And if you count the number of individuals that have been on the working groups, it's 200 people. So that's pretty extensive.
Machorik said 7 planning groups have formed to examine specific topics.
We hope that this is going to be truly a living document with a lot of great ideas that can keep on swelling up from within the framework of the work that we've already done.
The university has conducted open forums, town halls, and developed surveys to help engage all of its constituents.
I feel like we have included so many voices in this plan, and it really is going to be a plan of the people of the University of North Dakota and beyond.
The purpose of the document is going to be to help UND to move forward so that people will know, will be able to clearly enunciate what it is we want to achieve, where we're going, and perhaps ways of getting there without being too prescriptive.
It should strengthen our culture and really help us define the University of North Dakota that we aspire to be.
For Wake Up to UND, the morning show, I'm David Dodds.
And as you walk around campus, you will know that UND's campus is getting a makeover. Students are living in a newly renovated Brandon Hall this year. The brand new McVeigh Hall will open soon and connects directly to Wilkerson Commons. Nestled along University Avenue is West Hall and scheduled to open next fall. Carnegie Hall is undergoing renovation for executive offices and meeting space. The 2nd Avenue pedestrian walkway is almost complete and offers outdoor seating for conversation and study. In our second news story, UND welcomes 2 new administrators this year. Brian Pappas joined the law school as its new dean. His experience includes 10 years at Michigan State's University College of Law. He also served as the associate provost for faculty affairs at Eastern Michigan University. Carla Monjon Stewart was appointed as UND's vice president for finance and operations. She replaces Jed Shivers, who left UND this summer. Her previous financial experience includes work as the budget director at NDSU and chief financial officer at Rocky Mountain College in Billings, Montana. That's your Wake Up to UND news. President Armacost?
Thanks, Faith. We certainly welcome Brian and Carla to their new positions. Carla has been working at UND since 2015 as our Associate Vice President for Finance. I'm certainly looking forward to working with her and Brian in their new roles. There's a bit of a chill in the air, by the way. Did you see it this morning? Did you feel it? So let's go to our student meteorologist, Blake Rafferty, with today's forecast. Over to you, Blake.
It was definitely chilly to start this morning. We got down to 32 degrees in Grand Forks, so that was the first reading at that freezing level we've seen this year. And right now we've warmed up a little bit to 34, so it's still pretty chilly out. We're going to warm up, though, today. It's going to be a pretty nice day. But there is wind on the way as we go later into the week, even as temperatures increase. And overall, homecoming this weekend, activities outside. You got the parade on Saturday, football game, even got hockey, tailgating. Weather looks pretty decent as we go into the weekend. Current satellite and radar, that's pretty quiet. There's not much going on. Lots of blank map. That's what we like to see if you want to be outside. So this is a perfect forecast or current conditions right now. So this afternoon, with all that sunshine, we'll really warm up here out to the west, up into the 60s. The valley sitting in the upper 50s, 59 in Grand Forks and Fargo. Minnesota, a little bit cooler. They got down into the 20s this morning around Bemidji, so they're only going to get into the mid-50s this afternoon. But sunshine for everyone. The one catch with the clear skies, though, is those clear skies, there's nothing to keep in the heat once the sun goes down. So overnight, we'll be able to cool off quite a bit again, down to 34 in Grand Forks, 34 in Fargo. A few more clouds off to the west, 44 Bismarck, Minot, my hometown. Regent, North Dakota, getting down to 43 tonight. Minnesota, that's where the clouds, there's not going to be many to be seen, down to 32 up in International Falls, the nation's icebox. So for today, again, beautiful weather, cool, perfect fall day as expected. Winds out of the north-northeast, only 5 to 10 miles an hour. Can't really beat that. Tonight, down to 35. Will be frosty tomorrow morning in spots. Gonna need a jacket when you leave the house. And then winds from the north turning to the southeast, and that's gonna help us start warming up as we head later into the week. So as we head into our 7-day, you'll see 70s here Thursday and Friday. It will be windy, though, on Wednesday. That'll continue into Thursday. And then the weekend, anything you want to do outside, get it done this week. It's going to be very nice. Today's a nice day. Friday's a nice day. Lots of nice weather to spread around the 7-day forecast.
That's awesome. Thanks, Blake. And perfect weather this weekend for the homecoming parade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing everybody at the homecoming parade this weekend. The weather is is absolutely amazing. It'll be a great
perfect.
day. So thanks,
Yep.
Blake. And just so you know, Blake is an atmospheric sciences major here at UND. He works part-time for KVRR Television in Fargo as a weather anchor. You can also see Blake and other meteorology students on the UND Weather Update show. Hey, Blake, where can people watch the UND Weather Update?
We got 3 locations. You can tune in on Facebook, Weather Update on Facebook, Weather Update on Instagram, and we just started a new Twitter yesterday, so you can follow us at any of those 3 platforms.
Awesome. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate
No
you
problem.
being here. The Chamber works with our local business community to encourage success. They partner with many sponsors who support Wake Up to UND. Our Fighting Hawk spent some time this week recognizing our presidential sponsors.
The Nistler College of Business and Public Administration is the largest school of business in North Dakota. The college has long recognized many of the core values that surface through the UND strategic planning process. Here to discuss a new era for the college is Dean Amy Henley. Dean Henley, thank you for joining us this morning and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
One of the themes that emerged throughout the strategic planning process was student success, and emphasized success both inside and outside of the classroom. One of the ways that the college does this is through the Middleton Business Competition. Can you tell us a little bit about the program?
Absolutely. Thank you, Faith. The Middleton Business Plan Competition is an example of the many experiential learning opportunities that we have in the Nistler College. It's one of the key strategic priorities, as you mentioned earlier, what our values and our initiatives are. We want students to experience interactions before they have out in the real world and they join their careers. So Tom and Connie Middleton were generous enough to provide us a $5 million gift about a year and a half ago, and that has supported many endeavors, but particularly the Middleton Business Plan Competition, where there's a competition across campus, engineering students, aeronautics students, business students, of course, arts and sciences, et cetera, and we compete over a 3-day weekend. And the winner actually gets a great deal of prizes in terms of funds and business support, but they also get to ring the closing bell at NASDAQ. So that's one we're proud of.
Awesome. So I know that this year the college was reaccredited, and this places your college in the top 5% of business schools, not just nationwide, but globally. Can you talk a little bit about what this means for the college and its students?
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, because our accreditation is something we're particularly proud of. We have accreditation through NASPA for our Masters of Public Administration program and for America SBDC for our SBDC programs. Our most recent accreditation with AACSB does focus on our business programs and business degrees. And one thing that I'm particularly proud of with that accreditation is AACSB really wants to see the impact that students and colleges of business and public administration are making. So we were particularly proud to be able to show the impact in the community, the impact that our students are doing with internships and with community engagement. And AACSB, the team that came in, was particularly proud of that and pointed that out as something that we should herald ourselves for.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I know we've talked about the UND strategic plan, and you've talked a little bit about experiential learning and going beyond the classroom. Talk a little bit about how the Nistler connects with the community of Grand Forks.
Absolutely. It is so special to have such a strong relationship. Mayor Boczynski is one of our econ grads that we're proud of, but we also have so many partners in local organizations, also with the chamber, and the most demonstrative example, I think, is where the city invested $1.3 million into our new Nistler Hall. And so we're so proud to have a City of Grand Forks Workforce Development Center in that student-facing area right on the first floor of Nistler Hall, where students all across campus can come by and see what the opportunities are in the City of Grand Forks and with different organizations within the city.
That's awesome. So this fall represents a milestone for the college. The Nistler is open and students are now learning in a new building. Talk a little bit about this project and how it was funded.
Happy to. It was really exciting to see, you mentioned students learning in the space. When that AACSB team was here back in April and the building was about 90% done, one thing they mentioned was that this building screams how much you care about your students. As a university, you can tell that this building was built for students. So it was interesting to see the day before classes started, and it was completely empty, and then you come in the next morning, and every little space where we had different touchdown spaces where they can work with groups or work on their own, every seat was filled, every conference room was being utilized, so that was great to see. And it's a reflection of the funding project that we partnered with the city, as I mentioned before, with the state, with our lead donors, Werner and Colleen Nistler, and over 250 additional donors who made gifts up to $30 million in total to provide the $70 million funding for the project. So I think it's a great example of that public-private partnership.
Wow, what a great partnership there. And so with all the other events we have going on this week, I know on Friday we have a ribbon cutting ceremony for the building. Talk about this event and when it'll take place.
Well, everyone is invited, everyone in town, everyone on campus, because we are very proud. This project is over a decade in the making, and we want everyone to turn out for our grand opening. It is Friday morning, as you mentioned, at 11 a.m. in Nistler Hall, and all are welcome. It'll be a great celebration of a very special time.
Sounds like a great event. Now we're going to give you a sneak peek of the new building. The final beam was put in place last spring, and since that time, workers have completed the 123,000 square foot building just in time for fall semester. So Dean Henley, now that the building has been open, talk a little bit about what it's been like working in there and being in the new building.
It's been so exciting. Gamble Hall had served us very well since 1968, so over 50 years. But we had one long-tenured faculty member who mentioned a few weeks ago it was like he had a brand new job, that he was so excited to come to work. Not that he wasn't before, but even more excited to come to work in this new space. Felt like he had a new energy to his career and to his job. So it is so refreshing and humbling to see how many people truly enjoy being in the space and are learning in the space.
Yeah, very lucky to have such great faculty here. And now as we start a new beginning, we will start to move into the future. So how will the building support some of your long-term goals as we move forward?
Because Gamble Hall had served us so well for over 50 years, it was critical to us that we construct a building, and JLG Architects, I know who is here, and PCL and community contractors did a great job of suggesting things that would allow the building to be timeless in nature. For example, in classrooms where you have tiered seating, normally that tiered is accomplished through construction, and JLG recommended that instead we tier that seating through furniture. And so in 5, 10, 20 years, if we need greater flexibility in the space, then we have that available by the completely flat floor. So we made a lot of intentional efforts for the space to last as long as possible and to be timeless as Gamble Hall was.
Fantastic. Well, Dean Henley, thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on all your hard work and where we are now.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we'll talk to President Armacost, and he will speak with Professor Will Semke and Lieutenant Colonel Mike Dunn. They'll discuss a new partnership between UND and the Air Base. But first, our Fighting Hawk recognizes our presidential sponsors. This is Wake Up to UND, the morning show.
Dean Amy Henley discussed accreditation in the last segment. There were many other programs on campus that recently received accreditation, and let me go through a few of them. Engineering and computer science, athletic training, graduate medical education, continuing medical education, occupational therapy, public health, nutrition and dietetics, commercial aviation, air traffic management, UAS operations, counseling psychology, and of course the AACSB accreditation that Dean Henley just talked about. And then there's others going through the accreditation process as well. I'll share them as well. The medical school, the law school, our music program, and art and design, to name a few. So congratulations to everybody for the work they've done to achieve accreditation and also the ongoing work to make sure we get that national recognition. How about a round of applause? Today is about partnerships, and the University of North Dakota established a partnership this summer with Grand Forks Air Force Base. The agreement allows faculty and students to work in the North Spark Defense Laboratory. Joining us now is the Associate Dean for the College of Engineering and Mines, Dr. Will Semke, and the Director of North Spark, Lieutenant Colonel Mike Dunn. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us. Real pleasure.
Mike, let's begin by talking about the purpose of the lab. It's designed to accomplish many things, but what's its primary purpose?
Yeah, so the laboratory is really designed to give innovation tools to our airmen. We want to enable airmen to be able to have the tools to do things like rapid prototyping, to be able to develop ideas that they have to make their lives and their work centers better. So it's really starts with airmen, and we have some things out there like 3D printers, 3D scanners, we have automation tools, we do design sprints, and all kinds of trying to enable airmen with tools that they need to get their job done. And in addition, we really partner a lot with small businesses through the Small Business Innovation Research Program, or SBIR program, to bring innovative technologies from the business sector to the Air Force Base and to the Air Force writ large, so that we can kind of take advantage of the best things that industry has to offer as well. So I don't know if that's me or if, but
did you hear something?
But we're doing a lot of great things out there,
yeah.
And it's been awesome to partner with UND as well, and it's been the partnership with UND has been foundational in that, because we get access to so many more resources, right? We get access to just the faculty and staff and the students at UND who all have these great creative ideas, things that we've already seen work together in partnership. With one another. So it's been really neat to
That's incredible.
watch it firsthand.
I know you're doing work in the virtual world as well. Can you share some of the programs that you've been working on?
Yeah, I think one that immediately pops to mind is we have developed a trainer for we have the RQ-4 Global Hawk is the primary weapon system that's down at Grand Forks Air Force Base, and we have airmen that are responsible for learning how to paint. And so instead of now painting and doing their practice painting in real world with all the messy cleanup and cost that comes along with that, we've developed a VR painting system where they can put on goggles and they can use a VR kind of paint sprayer to really practice this, and they can get a ton of reps and sets practicing that without the mess and cost that comes with doing that in the real world.
Yeah, I love
Pretty
it.
cool.
Thanks. It's, the virtual world is legitimate for training purposes and many other things. And Will, tell me about the opportunities that this partnership presents to our students and our faculty members.
Well, it's just a great opportunity to make this solidify and have a permanent agreement with the Air Force Base to work on projects of mutual interest, and it gives us this structure that's going to go past different commands at the base, past different generations of faculty and students, to build that long-term relationship that we've been blessed with for so long already.
Yeah, it is a great partnership. And one of the projects taken on by the lab was called From Lab Coats to the Front Line. Tell us about the project and how UND students helped that project along.
Yes, that was a project last fall that was part of a Hacking for Defense course that we offered here at UND. Dr. Amy Whitney from the Center of Innovation and I co-taught the course. And it was coordinated with the DoD, and they brought projects to us from all over the country, possibly. We ended up with 4 supporting the Grand Forks Air Force Base, but projects that the DoD has to work on anything from social issues to building a widget to process steps. And then one of the projects in there, a group of students worked on ways to how to bring innovation to the base in a more effective way, how to coordinate or how to collaborate the activities of regional businesses and hopefully businesses from the East Grand Forks and Grand Forks to work with the base to bring needed technology and new innovation on there. So they looked at how do we help businesses get connected and get into the system to contribute to the base mission.
Nice. Well, why do you think this was the right time for this agreement to happen?
Well, it was just a great opportunity. Like I mentioned, there's been a long-standing, work with the base and a connection with UND and the community. But, under your leadership, coming from the Air Force Base and the leadership that was at the base, we worked with Colonel Gerdovich a lot, and it just was a great opportunity to spark this thing. We also just entered into this Hacking for Defense program. We went through a bunch of training on what to do with that. And so that was coming up, and we're hoping to offer it again this spring. So we're looking for students to get involved to bring these innovative ideas. So all the things were just at the right time, and we just can build from there.
Nice, exciting. And Mike and Will, what do you think are some of the research projects you see forthcoming between UND and North Spark?
I'll jump on that one if that's okay. I think there's really a ton of collaboration that we've already started with the Center for Innovation. And for folks that are looking to connect with us, the Center for Innovation is a great hub where we have mutual connections. So we've started to kind of coalesce around some different training. We offer at the North Spark Defense Lab some training on Military Scrum Master, which is analogous to Scrum Master course, which some folks may be familiar with, and Warfighter Centered Design, which is a military version of human-centered design, which is popular in the civilian sector as well. So we're partnering on a lot of those trainings, which is fantastic. To be able to bring in the resources, the professors and students at UND to work on things that specifically to do with climate, energy, and small UAS. I tell you, this is here in North Dakota, and specifically in Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, an amazing ecosystem of industry, academia, and the military. We all have common goals. This is an amazing university that's committed to aviation and small UAS. We have Grand Sky Park and a bunch of small business in the area that are really interested in small UAS and UAS operations in general. And then at Grand Forks, we fly the largest RPA in the Air Force inventory and have a lot of experience with flying remotely piloted aircraft. So that's one way I think that we can work together, and I think the partnership needs to be strong.
Was that you again?
I think so.
Okay.
The breakfast was really good. Maybe I ate too much, I guess.
Yeah, I think all the things that were mentioned are great opportunities. From the College of Engineering Mines, we have a research institute for technical issues, the Center of Innovation bringing in new businesses, the aerospace school training pilots doing operations, and just across campus, there's just so many opportunities for different folks from UND to collaborate with the base. And this agreement isn't just for one of them, it's an overarching umbrella to try to grow these collaborations and grow them into more deep in some areas when other agreements will be formed.
Nice.
But this can be the base model.
Nice. Mike, one last question for you. I know that you're doing some high-tech health and fitness programs. There's an effort called the Bod Pod. Can you tell us about it?
Sure, yeah. Just a little bit about the Bod Pod. It is a full body composition pod that you kind of get inside, and it takes all kinds of measurements. So at the Air Force Base, as you can imagine, we need to be prepared to fight and win in combat, and so part of that is certainly fitness. And so as we have health professionals that are helping airmen become their best selves, become fit to fight, part of it is using technology to do that. So this, again, spawned out of one of these small business innovation research programs that I mentioned, where we're leveraging the best technology from industry to bring it to the Air Force Base to partner and collaborate, and then we're becoming a more lethal force, a more ready force because of our partnership with local industry. So pretty cool.
Guys, thanks so much for being here today. And we've learned some things. We've learned about Scrum Masters, Bod Pods, and virtual painters. So wonderful. Thanks so much, and we really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Renovation began this summer on the lower level of Swanson Hall. It was repurposed to become the home for a new sports team, the Esports team. This fall, UND launched a Bachelor of Science degree in esports. This positions the university to train the next generations of esports professionals.
I would describe esports as a team-based competitive pursuit through the medium of video games.
A lot of the student organizations, as well as some members of student government, came to us, realizing that there was a need on campus. We wanted to build a central place so that anyone who had an interest in gaming, not necessarily just competitive gaming, but also more casual games, would have a place to kind of meet and talk about those shared interests, and that's kind of why we built the Nexus. I think right now, just being able to develop those three pillars of that recreation that we offer, the varsity program that offers that more competitive environment, and the educational piece is really going to be a great move forward for UND.
We took over with more of a competition focus in mind, getting the players together, getting them back in person, and kind of helping them build kind of what we think a solid team looks like. The daily life of an esports student starts with their education. So most of them go to classes, but realistically when all of their education is done, that's kind of when we take over. And we're trying to augment their educational experience by providing real-world exercise of the things that they're learning in the classroom, while still maintaining the bond or the chemistry that comes within working in a team unit. When building the esports facility, it was definitely a labor of love. That's why we incorporated things like locker rooms, nutrition station, smaller spaces. Instead of having 42 computers just in a room, we really wanted to nail down that concept of this is where you're going to learn and grow as a student.
The esports academic program started with a coaching minor, and basically we recognize that there's traditional coaching and there's a whole market for esports coaching, so that's what we did first. Then very quickly we developed an academic major in esports, and so what we focus on is more of a athlete development, coaching, performance, and health. That's our focus. So one of the things that we're doing with the esports program is trying to link the job opportunities with our specializations. So there's all these areas of opportunity where a student can go, and we're just trying to really weave our way through and create a solid program that's linked to job opportunities so our students can go out and be leaders in this field. The students who are coming now, they're the first students, right? They're the trailblazers. So they're the ones who are going to be able to really forge this pathway that we have in our community, and hopefully we emerge as a leader in esports academic programs.
Before I go on to our next guest, the last segment talked about the great innovation happening between the Air Force Base and UND. And there were two others whose names, I think we heard one in the last segment, Dr. Amy Whitney and Tyler Sletton from the Center for Innovation. Both of them were instrumental in making sure that relationship came to fruition. How about a round of applause for them? Our next guest, who has joined me on stage, has been flying drones since he was in 5th grade. UND student Jerry Fuller is a member of the UAS Remote Control Club He joins us now to discuss his research and the evolution of the UND Drone Club. Welcome, Jerry. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's a great
Yeah,
time.
and drones have been a part of your life since 5th grade. What sparked this interest at such a young age?
So it's not something that typically someone that young would get into just because it's not exactly the cheapest of all hobbies. But growing up, I was in Boy Scouts. I'm actually an Eagle Scout. And we're on with our leaders. We were at a Camp Inn, which is like an indoor camp out. We were staying at National Guard Armory, and they had these little remote control planes, and I asked to fly one, and that kind of spiraled into an out of control, kind of fun hobby. Started off, I just built them out of basic materials like a hot glue and foam board you can buy from Dollar Tree, and worked my way up from there.
Nice. And when you came to UND, you got involved with the UAS RC Club. The club was in a transition period, and how has it evolved since then?
Yeah, so I really showed up for the end of that transition period. I'm a sophomore this year, so last year we had only about 10 active members really in the club, and our meetings on average was 4 or 5 of us would show up. This year we really took off. We did a lot of outreach at the beginning of this school year, and we actively have 20 to 30 additional people now on top of the 10 we already had showing up to our meetings, coming out to our events, and having a great time. And we're open to everyone who comes. We allow everyone to get some time to try stuff out and gain some experience.
Nice. And last spring, the team hosted the National Collegiate Drone Racing Championships here at UND, and you were a part of that. What did it take for the team to actually host that event?
So yeah, CDRC, or as you said, the Drone Racing Championship, has a lot that goes into it. There was, from the days leading up, we met out with HB Sound and Light over at the High Performance Center. We were building the big trusses to get all the netting and all that up because these drones fly at the upwards of 100 miles an hour. There's a lot of safety precautions that we have to put in place to make sure it's a safe event, good for spectators. So we spent the time getting the safety netting up, building the course, and decorating the venue as well, and getting ready for the other teams.
Nice, and I was there, I saw the setup, it was absolutely amazing, and seeing the drones fly at over 100 miles per hour in a closed facility was absolutely stunning. But you don't just fly drones, you actually build them. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so drones, I mean, a lot of people, you go to the store, you see like the ones you buy at Best Buy, those are good, but you can also, part of the big thing with the drone racing hobby is these drones aren't bought off the shelf. These are all custom hand built, so that's, we're picking components from different suppliers, and we're physically building them, soldering, getting all the electronics hooked up and programmed in, so we're able to race these and tune these and make them the best that they can be.
Nice. You're also involved with a group called the Research Institute for Autonomous Systems, otherwise known as RISE. Tell us about your role and involvement with RISE and what you do there.
Yeah, so RISE is a local research institute we have here on campus, and we do a wide variety of stuff, from providing FAA certified pilots for maybe if a student group has a research project they're working on and they need pilots, all the way to building custom aircraft for anyone who reaches out to us and needs them. And we just do a wide variety of work to help people, and also do some stuff with different research and projects.
And speaking of research, you're involved in other research as well. I know that you were recently in Nome, Alaska, involved in some research efforts. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so we were up in Nome. We had an aircraft with us which had, these are going to be some big words, a LiDAR sensor, a multispectral sensor, and an electro-optical sensor. And what these, and a thermal sensor. So what we were doing up there is we were doing climate research in permafrost environments, and we were scanning roads and infrastructure up there to see how climate change and all that's going to affect the infrastructure over the coming years. So we know how to properly build the infrastructure in the future to help withstand some of these changing conditions.
Nice. And while you were in Nome, Alaska, I heard there was an interesting weather event, namely a typhoon.
Yeah, so normally, or beforehand, we looked at the weather, and we just saw rain in the forecast. We're like, okay, just a little bit of rain, big deal, we'll work around it. We get into the plane, so we flew from Anchorage to Nome. We get off the plane, and we're waiting for, my research manager went to go get the car, and we're talking with people in the airport. They're like, you guys are so lucky, this is the last plane that's gonna make it in for a few days. We suggest you go to the store and stock up on supplies, and we're like, what's this about? We get a look around. We finally, there's no cell service. We had no cell service up there either because we're in the middle of pretty much nowhere. And Typhoon Merbok had just swept through Japan. The remnants of it were coming up, and we were going to get hit dead center by it, and from what we heard from the locals, it was the worst storm they've had in over a century. And lucky for us, our hotel was on the Bering Sea, so we're sitting here the night before the storm hits, and it's just winds are howling, it's pouring with rain, and you look out and you just see the sea crashing up on the sea break. We wake up in the morning, and it was honestly kind of devastating. There was entire roads that were just missing. Some houses actually were floating down a river, and it was not honestly the best situation. Like I said, the city was underwater. There was also fire in the flood. That was an interesting thing. And we did our best we could. We let the local authorities know we were there and offered to help if they needed anything.
Nice. Well, adds to the excitement of your experience, but it sounds like a great trip from a research perspective, and lending a helping hand is always a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I see that you brought some stuff with you.
Yeah, so I brought a drone with to fly. Have you ever flown a drone before?
Yesterday, and I crashed twice.
Okay, so
let's give it a shot right here in front of 400 people.
Yeah, so maybe I'll stick with the drone. If you maybe want to... Yeah.
No, I'm up for it. Come on, let's go. Oh, my goodness. You go first.
I'll go first? Okay. So if I crash it, then you don't have to fly it.
Yeah.
So this is called, we call these whoops. These are what we fly indoors in the winter for drone racing, mainly because the big ones go a little fast for us to safely fly indoors here. So these are what we have kind of for fun time. We can fly these around in classrooms and all that in various halls. Go for it.
All right. There we go. Hey, let's try. Take off.
Yeah, hold it out.
This will work a little better. Ready? I have an idea. Ready?
Ready?
You ready? I'm ready. I can steer. There we go. All right, see if you can land it in my hand. There we go. Jerry, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
I think I need a lot of practice before I really get good at this, but the Collegiate Drone Racing Championships are coming up. When are they scheduled for this year? Do you know?
I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure they're scheduled for sometime in April.
Okay, and we're not hosting this year?
We're not hosting this year.
Okay, but someday soon.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate
Thanks for having me.
And coming up, we'll have some audience participation, but first I want to introduce you to a student who was a senior last year. Merrick McMahon is from Minot, North Dakota. He's an enrolled member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa. He majored in biology and pre-dentistry with the dream of giving back to his community.
I spent a lot of time on the Turtle Mountain Reservation. As I was growing up and visiting the reservation a lot, I've just noticed the standard of health care wasn't always top of shape, so I've always kind of wanted to give back to my community up there or other Native American communities across the country. My name is Merrick McMahon. I'm from Minot, North Dakota, and I am a biology pre-dentistry major at the University of North Dakota. I've been mostly involved with InMed out of all student organizations, if I had to say. InMed is essentially a place where Native American undergraduates can seek help and be a part of this organization who are pursuing healthcare-related careers. All of the InMed faculty, especially Kathleen Fredericks, has helped me be where I am today. Keith Malater from Student Diversity and Inclusion, he's helped me since day one. And Dr. Yi Han Chu, she helped me win 3 nationally competitive scholarships. That's something I never thought I'd be able to do. The IHS scholarship is for Native American students who are hoping to go in work for the Indian Health Service, which is one of my goals. and they mostly help me build like confidence to be able to do the things I do now. I'll be applying to dental school this May. From there, I will be taking a gap year. And there's two things I would like to do. I'd like to be a dental assistant, and I'd like to volunteer, ideally for some reservation that's in need. So maybe working for an IHS clinic. What Indian Health Services is a public health service that essentially gives free health care to those who live on reservations, specifically Native Americans who live on reservations. So that's something I've always been interested in doing, and that's just giving back to Native American communities. I eventually hope to use that scholarship and pay back a service commitment in order to give back to my people.
I was thrilled to celebrate Merrick's graduation last May. It was great to meet him and meet his family. He's now participating in interviews for dental school. We wish him well as he continues to work towards his goal. And Faith, you know, this has been an amazing event. Thank you so much for joining me on stage. But now I think it's time to get the audience involved.
I think you're right. On your tables, you will find a gift. So that little item is a phone wallet and can also be used as a stand. Next to that, you will find the lyrics to our fight song, Stand Up and Cheer. So let's all stand up and sing the fight song to send off.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows it.
I thought you were going to start
They
us.
have the lyrics.
Well, they should have given us the lyrics.
Well, I think we need some help, don't you?
I think you're right. I mean, I know it's early, but there is no better way to energize than the Pride of the North Marching Band. Here they are to help us stand up and cheer. All right, this is where we step through.
That's it. Thank you all for coming. We don't have any more prepared material, but have a wonderful day. We're thrilled that you could join us at Wake Up to UND. Let's keep making the connections between the campus and the community ever so stronger. Thank you so much.
Thank you again to all of our sponsors and guests for being here. Have a great day.
Oh, that was your line.
I forgot sponsors.